What happens if Argentina gets rid of its central bank? Will Argentinians be carrying around bundles of fresh greenbacks or better yet gold coins while former bankers shine their shoes? In just over a week, Javier Milei takes office after his shock win in the Argentinian election. He's promising to close the central bank and ditch the local currency. So what would that look like? In short, going by other dollarizations, it would reduce inflation dramatically. It's currently running 143% in Argentina. That would lead to much faster economic growth and rising prosperity. And it would make Argentina's banks stronger, reducing the risk of a financial crash. Put it together, and Argentina would go from perennial basket case to well on its way to prosperity. Of course, the next question is, will it happen? There, the punchline is dollarization is not nearly as hard as it looks, meaning Argentina could inspire many other countries to follow suit, many of which are running inflation at 40% or above. So first, what are the functions of a central bank? What would it mean to get rid of it? The two most important are manipulating the money supply, mainly with interest rates, and banking regulation. Regulation in this context meaning bailing out insolvent banks. Put them together and you get the central bank cycle of boom, bust, bailout. Of course, Argentina's central bank has been one of the worst in the world at this, delivering no less than 5 hyperinflation since 1975. So what happens if you close it? Well, if you get rid of it altogether and return to gold, then it's easy. You get steady growth, stable prices, and widening prosperity. Alas, returning to gold is a radical prospect for most voters. So what Javier Milei actually proposed was a kind of halfway house, dollarization, meaning Argentina adopts the US dollar. This would convert Argentina from that perennial basket case to, at least from a monetary perspective, no worse than the Fed. Compared to hyperinflation, that's a heck of a deal, for the moment at least. So what happens if he does shutter the central bank and adopt the dollar? Some trivial regulatory functions will probably go to the Ministry of Finance, things like oversight of payment systems, cross-bank payments, things like that. But by outsourcing the actual currency, those two great central bank functions, the manipulation, the bailouts, go from Argentinian levels to mere Washington levels. Still there, but much improved. The final question is, can he do it? While Milei lacks a congressional majority, dollarization actually isn't as radical as it looks. In fact, both Ecuador and El Salvador dollarized recently under normal governments. They did not need a lion-haired Ron Paul fan with a chainsaw. In both countries, it was a resounding success. Inflation went from between 15 and 40% to just 1.5%. Compare that to Argentina's 143. Meanwhile, post-dollarization economic growth went from among the worst in Latin America to among the best, while Argentina continued to lose another couple decades of stagnation. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. Given Milei's passion and the splendid track record of dollarization, I actually think he'll get it done. Of course, the dollar has its own problems, which are getting worse, but it would give the Argentinian people a break from the abysmal monetary governance they have suffered for going on a century. Read the full article, including more history and the data, at profstange.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.